Okay. Security guards. Oh! Oh shit! Prior to the implementation of sanctions on Russia after the invasion of Ukraine, this beautiful Italian port was home to a number of superyachts owned by Russians who are now on those US, EU and UK sanctions lists. This includes Motor Yacht Universe, allegedly owned by Dmitry Medvedev, the former Russian president. A source close to the vessel once saying it was owned by a very high-up Russian politician. This yacht left, rather luckily, one day before the early morning raids by Italian Guarda di Finanza, the Italian financial police, on another yacht in the marina. Universe fled to Turkey, being one of the first to do so, and seemingly set a trend for other Russian-owned boats to follow. Other boats that call Imperia home for most of the year are Motor Yacht Galaxy of Happiness, owned by God Nisanov. Now sanctioned by the US, this yacht has been seemingly towed from the Mediterranean to Turkey in the last few days by a deep sea tug. Another yacht, the 72 metre or 236 foot Motor Yacht Predator, owned by IKSANDER MAKHMUDOV, who is not currently on any sanctions lists. However, his vessel, which is almost always berthed here, has not broadcast on AIS for almost 3 months, and her last known location, despite saying Rhodes in Greece on marine traffic, shows the vessel next to a swimming pool in a house in Corsica. Motor Yacht Clio, the 72 metre or 238 foot Lursen, allegedly owned by Oleg Deripaska, also usually enjoys Imperia's coastline. However, at the time of the invasion of Ukraine, she was in the Maldives. After a month, she transited the Suez Canal to Turkey and headed to Russia via the Bosphorus, turning off her AIS as soon as she cleared the strait. She has been seen on satellite coverage in a marina near Sochi. Most of the vessels left prior to a string of arrests by the Italian authorities, but this one, Motor Yacht Lady M, did not. Lady M was arrested along with another vessel, Motor Yacht Lena in San Remo, an hour down the coast. Lady M is owned by Alexei Mordozhov, one of the richest men in Russia, making much of his money from the steel industry. Mr. Mordozhov, though, does not just own one yacht, and in fact his other yacht is much larger than this one, and that vessel fled sanctions but to Vladivostok in Russia, his other yacht being Motor Yacht Nord. I came to Imperia to find out what happened to Lady M. What do the sanctions mean for this yacht? What state is the yacht in? And what happened to the crew? I arrived in the marina on the evening of day one. I immediately noticed a security vehicle parked outside and feigned a phone call, as I wasn't sure how they would react to somebody filming. At this point, I decided to use the drone from a safe distance. Alright, I think it's best if I fly the drone and keep my distance from security, because I don't know how they're going to react, whether they're going to be upset with me trying to film. Okay. Security guard. Oh! Oh shit! I flew the drone back as quickly as possible, taking a wide berth around the marina so they wouldn't know where I was standing. Even though I wasn't doing anything illegal, I didn't want to get caught and possibly have to delete the footage. As soon as I got the drone back, I left the marina and headed to my hotel. Just 60 seconds to tell you 3 reasons why you should be using NordVPN. Number 1, security. If you frequently use public Wi-Fi, such as at airports or coffee shops or at work, you should be using NordVPN for increased security. Also, if you live in the UK, your service provider must record all your internet usage for 12 months in case the government wants to look at it. Using NordVPN will make this impossible. Number 2, did you know that what you watch on Netflix in the UK is not necessarily what's available in other parts of the world? One of my favorite TV shows is not even available on Netflix in the UK. So I connect my VPN to the US and hey presto, I'm watching it. Number 3, don't be the product. If you're thinking, hey, I've got a free VPN and it's just as good, you're wrong. A free VPN will show adverts, plus they will log your information and sell that information to advertisers. Anyone offers anything for free and you have to ask yourself, what's their business model? Let's put it this way, if you're not paying, you're not the customer, you're the product. NordVPN does not log, and this has been independently audited. Go to nordvpn/esysman to get the 2-year plan with an exclusive deal, plus 1 month free. Risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Okay, back to the show. It's about 8 o'clock now, just after 8 a.m. in the morning. Just about 8 a.m. and you can see the vessel next to Lady M there on the right. You can see the crew, the deckhands up on deck there, washing down first thing in the morning. It's a daily ritual, if you like. And if you look at Lady M, nothing. You can't see there's no movement at all, and no ensign. You can see that the ensign is flying on the other vessel, which will have been put up at 8. It's just after 8 right now, and yeah, nothing on Lady M. So security presence is it's quite interesting. You can see the car down there, when there's a few people there. There's a security team, and think that guard is handing over. That's why there's a bit of movement down there, but there's nothing going on Lady M. You can see the crew there cleaning down on the vessel next to it there, and yeah, absolutely no movement at all on Lady M. Alexei Mordashov was placed under sanctions because of the Ukraine invasion. According to the EU, Russia Bank, which Mordashov owns a financial stake in, is the personal bank of the senior officials who benefited from the annexation of Crimea. However, he also has a 34-ish% stake in TUI, one of the biggest holiday firms in the world. And during the pandemic, he actually pumped money into the company, keeping it afloat. And the day he was sanctioned, he transferred the ownership of his assets in that company to his wife. That transfer was being investigated by the German authorities, but at the time they said that it doesn't appear that he broke any rules. As you can see from my footage here, completely deserted. No ensign, which is probably would get missed by most people, and that's very telling of a vessel, because at 8 a.m. the ensign goes up, at 8 p.m. the ensign comes down, and on a vessel like this that would happen, and it's not happening on this vessel, which suggests to me that there's either no crew at all or a very basic skeleton crew. Now the vessel's broadcasting AIS, so that means it has some power, which obviously the AIS unit is powered by 24 volt DC, but for that to be operating 2 months down the road, it's obviously being charged. Those batteries are being charged, so there's power on board, so there's probably an engineer and maybe somebody on deck, just the very basic minimum crew. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a walk up by the boat. Just walk by. I'm using my phone right now to film. The vessel looks in good order. It doesn't look like it's been washed for a while. That's another thing that tells me that there's no wash down
On any yacht of this size, normally the vessel would be washed down every day, and like I said, there's no sign of life on the vessel. I've been here for 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer, and obviously I've not been stood outside the boat for that long, but I've been here long enough to see that there's no sign of life on board. I've not seen one person on the deck or any movements inside the vessel. So I suspect that there are, like I said, a minimal crew, and they're probably just down in the crew area. Actually, now I've just seen some movement there. There's somebody on board, not in uniform though. Maybe he's one of the caretaker crew. So that's the first movement I've seen in 24 hours. That's a different person, so I've seen at least 2 people now. Yeah, you can see signs that the vessel has not had a wash down for quite a while. Alright, so after saying that I hadn't seen anybody on board, any work out on deck, there is one guy up on the mast there washing down. So there are some crew on board, but one crew member washing a vessel of this size that's a lot of work. So that's probably why it doesn't look as neat as it should, because there's like I said, there's an absolute minimum crew. That's quite shocking news, really, about the crew. So every crew member's been laid off, and they've just hired a skeleton crew to look after it, which is obviously what I've just observed. Well, that's bad news. And this is not the only boat to be affected as well. So there's going to be a lot of other boats in the same situation.